Uh, First of all, let me briefly explain why today we are here to talk about the importance of UNEG to partners with external stakeholders. As you know, last year, UNEG had an external assessment. One of the findings of the external assessment was that UNEG is too inward-looking. And one of the recommendations was really that UNEG should consider revisiting its mission statement and developing a new strategy, including a major outreach approach to partners with external stakeholders. So all the discussion about partnership came from the external assessment that was carried out last year. And that's why in the new UNEG strategy, as you know, there are 4 strategic objectives, one of which is exactly about partnership. But this is the first time that we, as a group, as a community, we are talking about that. And that's why we wanted to organize this session to be an opportunity for us to discuss as a community, really, what do we mean with partnership, why it's important, and what does it mean in practice? What do we want to do in practice in the next couple of years? First of all, just let me say very briefly about the vision of partnership. Partnership is one of the most effective strategies to maximize impact with limited resources. We always talk about the issue that one of the weaknesses of, or challenges of UNEG is that we are a voluntary group. And sometimes we are too ambitious with what we want to do based on the existing resources that we have. And when I talk about the resources, I mean human resources, our own time, but also financial resources. So the idea is that partnership is really one way to enhance and to maximize our capacity to achieve our goals on the one side, but also to maximize our capacity to benefit from the international evaluation community. So it's really to bring forces together to achieve common objectives. The second issue about partnership is that partnership is a means to achieve an end and not an end in itself. You have probably seen in the proposed work plan, UNEG work plan, that the strategic objective number 4 on partnership mainly builds on the objectives of the strategic objective number 1, 2, and 3. So the idea is really how we can support UNEG to implement its own work plan, once again in partnership with external stakeholders. So the idea is that through strategic partnership, UNEG will achieve 2 results. So one is to maximize its capacity to outreach to external stakeholders, contributing to the global evaluation community. And the second is to leverage partner resources and capacities to achieve and enhance UNEG goals. Now, what are the existing opportunities? As you know, UNEG already has an observer status in the main evaluation networks. And mainly, I'm talking about the OECD DAC EvalNet, that is the network of the evaluation offices of bilateral partners, mainly, let's say, the donors. And ECG, that is the network of evaluation offices of the multilateral banks. So we already have existing relationships with them. We have an observation status, and vice versa. They have an observation status to UNEG. In addition, there is another existing opportunity, and that is that several regions already have UN evaluation groups. We will hear today from Edgar the case of UNEDAP, that is the UN evaluation group in Asia and Pacific. But similar groups are existing also in Latin America and in East and South Africa. So the discussion is how we can really explore what would be the best way for UNEG, that is more at central level, let's say is a central level network, to partner with the UN regional evaluation groups. Another opportunity is EvalPartners. EvalPartners is the global partnership for national evaluation capacity development. It was created 2 years ago. And it's composed by, nowadays, more than 50 organizations. It's composed by UN agencies. UNEG is part of it. UNDP, UNICEF, UN Women, UNV, and UNEDAP. It's composed by all the regional professional evaluation associations in the world, both from the north, from North America, Canada, and Europe, but most importantly, from the south. So we have RELAC from Latin America, AFREA from Africa, and all the others, regional and several national professional evaluation associations. We also have multilateral banks. For example, the African Development Bank is also a member. Universities, private foundations like Rockefeller and MasterCard Foundation, and also the Parliamentarians Forum for Development Evaluation in South Asia that was created also last year. So the good news is that through this existing partnership, we can really reach out many different stakeholders to strengthen evaluation in the international community in general, but in developing countries more in particular. So the question is, how can we strategically make use and really leverage these existing opportunities for UNEG? And mainly the strategic objective number 4 is organized around 2 major outcomes. The first one is about UNEG capacity to contribute to the global evaluation profession. So really what UNEG can, let's say, give and contribute to the community. And the second one is how UNEG can benefit from the global evaluation profession. So let's go more in depth about the outcome number 1 on how UNEG can contribute to the global evaluation profession. In principle, you already received the draft work plan. So I'm not presenting all the details of the work plan because you already received in advance. I'm just trying to highlight the key output. So the first one is really to strengthen the relationship, the existing relationship with EvalNet, the OECD DAC EvalNet, IOCE. IOCE is the third, let's say, big global evaluation network. It's the International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation, and we have the privilege of having the president today here with us. Perhaps, Natalia, if you can just, who you are. And it's, let's say, the World Federation of all the national and regional evaluation associations. So we need to have a discussion with all these different networks, really to see what are the niches where we can cooperate together. The second big aspect is about 2015, the International Year of Evaluation. And here we will see tomorrow during the AGM, the International Year of Evaluation is both under Strategic Objective 3 and 4. Strategic Objective 3, it looks more at the UN, and we will discuss more tomorrow, what UNEG is doing to implement the International Year of Evaluation, and mainly we are talking about UN resolution at the General Assembly. And Strategic Objective 4 looks more how we can link what UNEG is doing at central level in New York with the global movement that is already existing around the world, mainly led by EvalPartners. We already got 15 countries that did the declaration of the International Year of Evaluation. It was officially declared last October during the international conference on national evaluation capacities in Brazil. And since October, we got other 14 countries that already declare it in their own context. Just very briefly on the International Year of Evaluation. The idea is, the entire idea of the International Year of Evaluation came up through Eval Partners, and is a global initiative of coordinated local actions. So the idea is to advocate and promote demand and use of evaluation in evidence-based policy making, and to position evaluation in the policy arena. We realize as evaluation community that one of the failure or weaknesses that we had in the past was that we always talk among ourselves, among the evaluation community, among the evaluators. We never try to reach out the policymakers. So if we really want, we always focus on the supply side of evaluation. The idea of the International Year of Evaluation is to focus now, to start opening up to the demand side of evaluation. So to talk and to reach out to the policymakers, to the decision makers, and being in our own organizations, the senior managers in our own UN agencies, but also the policymakers at national level, to parliamentarians, for example, and we have the honor to have here at the Evaluation Week the leader of the South Asian Parliamentarian Forum, who is a parliamentarian from Sri Lanka, who will talk during this afternoon high-level panel. So the idea of the International Year of Evaluation is really to reach out to policymakers and to establish a dialogue with them to make sure that they will demand for evaluation and they will use evaluation in their own decision-making for national policies. Why 2015 for the International Year of Evaluation? As you know, so next year the MDGs will come to an end, and there will be the next round of international goals, the so-called post-2015 or the Sustainable Development Goals. One lesson learned from the MDGs is that monitoring has been mainstream in the MDGs. As you know, the SG every year produce a report tracking the progress toward the MDGs. So on the monitoring side, we are pretty okay. But in reality, on the evaluation side, we are not. Because evaluation has not been mainstream in the MDGs. So declaring 2015 as the International Year of Evaluation, the entire idea was to try to influence the next round of international development goals and to try to make sure that evaluation will be mainstream in the Sustainable Development Goals. That's an international level, but perhaps most importantly, the idea is to have evaluation mainstream at national level in the national development policies. So the Eval Year, that is the abbreviation of the International Year of Evaluation, has two strategies. One is global and the other one is local. The global one is the one that is being led by UNEG. As I said, at global level, UNEG is pretty active in trying to create a movement among the member states' mission to the UN in New York to get a UN resolution passed on this subject. As UNEG, we already met with the regional groups from Latin America, Africa, Asia, and Western countries. And we are identifying some champions for them to put forward the resolution at the General Assembly. There are also high-level events being organized. The first one was during, you will recall, during last year AGM, where we also had the UN Secretary General talking. The next one, we had a second one a few months ago in New York. Now we have this afternoon here in Bangkok, and probably more to come. So this is more, let's say, global level. At local level, the idea is to have a movement that is going to be led by the national and regional evaluation associations that is coming from the grassroots. So as I said, the International Year of Evaluation was officially declared at the NEC conference in Brazil a few months ago, last year. Then 15 VOPEs is the voluntary organization for professional evaluations. They already made also the declaration in several countries. UNEG and the OECD DAC EvalNet already endorsed the idea of the International Year of Evaluation, and ECG, the group from the multilateral banks, is pretty interesting. We have also the parliamentarian forums in South Asia that has been very active in trying to get the South Asian countries not only to endorse the idea of the International Year, but most importantly, to develop national evaluation policies. And just last month, during the conference of the African Evaluation Association, it was created also the African Parliamentarian Forum with parliamentarians from 7 countries, 17 parliamentarians from 7 countries, and they are also pushing to have national evaluation policies in Africa. So how to operationalize it? The idea is that while the roadmap will be developed in a collaborative manner, each stakeholder should really contribute in ways that best reflect their values, interests, and capacities. And that's what we will discuss when we break down in groups. There will be one group on International Year of Evaluation, and the question will be really how UNEG can contribute to this International Year of Evaluation. Nobody has the answer. It's really up to us to decide to shape the idea and how to do that. Just to mention that from the, let's say, UNEG side and global side, so there is the high-level events, the UN resolution, and then in next year, there is a discussion of organizing also a global event to celebrate the International Year of Evaluation. And the idea is to have it organized in a national parliament in one country. So it's really to reach out the policymakers and to have the events in a parliament for them really to discuss about the importance of evaluation in national policy making. This is now going to the strategic objective number 4. These are more or less what we are proposing to do. So is to sensitize member state mission at UN headquarters level about the global movement for the International Year of Evaluation. This is already ongoing. Invite non-UN strategic partners to contribute to high-level UN events. For example, this afternoon, we have the parliamentarian from South Asia, the president of IOCE. In the previous event, we had the director of evaluation from the Inter-American Bank. We had Coneval, that is from the Mexican National Evaluation System, etc. So it's really to try to bring in non-UN strategic partners. So then the importance of the UN resolution. I mean, the UN resolution is important not only for us as UN, because it can maybe support our work within our agencies, but perhaps most importantly is that it should be used to support enabling environment for evaluation at regional and national level. You know, if a country wants to develop a national evaluation policy, it can make reference to this UN resolution. So it comes not only from the grassroots, but also from the UN. Coordination with and support to national and regional strategies, event initiatives to strengthen the demand for and use of evaluation at national and regional level. And once again, I think that the representative from the South Asian Parliamentarian Forum this afternoon will talk about this kind of support. And support the organization of a strategic international event focusing on strengthening the demand for and use of evaluation in policy making, the one that I mentioned for next year. So these are more or less the activities under the strategic objective number 4 when it comes to the International Year of Evaluation. And then, once again, on contributing to the global evaluation profession is to have the UNEG guidance, existing UNEG guidance that are widely disseminating and its use facilitated, including through innovative and cost-effective initiatives. For example, this morning we had a session on the UNEG handbook on human rights and gender responsive evaluations. The idea is to create also an e-learning based on that guidance to, once again, to facilitate its use not only by UN agencies, but also by national partners. So moving to the second outcome on how UNEG can benefit from the global evaluation profession, the idea is that members of UNEG, ourselves and our colleagues, can benefit from innovative initiatives led by the global evaluation community. And these are just examples, it's not exhaustive. For example, an e-learning course on how to develop advocacy strategies for evaluations. Once again, strategies to strengthen the demands and use of evaluation by policymakers in different countries. An e-learning course on humanitarian evaluation to be developed in partnership with ALNAP, that I forgot to mention, is another global network for humanitarian evaluation. That is an area that UNEG has been quite weak to address. Systemic reviews on gender in development, guidance on engendering national evaluation policies. Once again, these are just examples of what can be done in partnership with external stakeholders. So last but not least, the modalities. The idea is to establish a partnership committee. In reality, it has been already established. It's composed, as of now, by 17 members, some of which are here in this room, others could not travel here in Bangkok. We already had the first virtual meeting. And this partnership committee will mainly facilitate the partnership with key strategic stakeholders, provide strategic guidance and quality assurance of expected output. But the implementation of the actual output will be ensured by partner organizations, including UNEG members and/or external consultants. So this one was just an introduction to the two working groups that we will have just in 10 minutes.